Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast in which we dig in deep to analyze the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe 1 minute at a time. I'm Andy Nelson from thenextreel.com.
And I'm Pete the Wall Right. What do you think? I'll try that. We'll keep. I'm going to workshop it. I'm workshopping it. I'm also from the Next Reel.
We are looking at Jon Favreau's 2008 film Iron Man. And back with us today, we have Tommy Handsome from the Next Reel and from What's That Smell podcast.
Hi, guys. A pleasure to be here for another minute.
We are looking at Iron Man minute 124. On today's show, the minute starts with Doug Smythe, digital production supervisor, and ends with the credit for main titles, visual effects, and apogee award sequence by Prologue Films. Not the place to get a job.
That's right. We learned that lesson. Oh, that was terrible. Yes. Great work. Terrible work environment.
Yeah, we were looking at them when we were looking at the end credit sequence, Tommy, and there were some. What was the website you were looking at?
It was on Glassdoor, the employment website.
There it is. Yes.
And people were, and this one person wrote in. It was like, "This is the worst sort of like sweatshop comp sci environment I've ever experienced. Please don't work here."
So yeah, not so good. But they make good stuff. Yeah.
Nice work, team. Now back to it.
Yeah, right. We've got a lot of visual effects in this minute, kicking off with ILM. And we have some Toms, Andys, and Petes. Would you guys like to hear them? Mm-hmm. Kicking off, we have the CG sequence supervisor, Tom Martinek. I think that sounds pretty high and mighty. The CG sequence supervisor. Next up, we have animators, Andy Wong and Peter Kelly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Great
and
work.
Also, we have digital artist Thomas Hutchinson. We have creative and technical support Thomas Chan and Andy Russell. And then we have computer graphics artist Andy Haas. So there are
not enough Petes or Peters. I'm feeling a little bit sidelined.
I had a whole minute with nothing, just to remind you.
Yeah, I'm really doing fantastic.
Tom is really taking these minutes by storm. I will say. A couple favorites from this minute. We have animator Samati Boonchitsitsak. Samati was on board as the animator at ILM and has done 12 visual effects films, starting with The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King over at Weta, before jumping over to Digital Domain with iRobot, and then King Kong, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Aragon, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, The Spiderwick Chronicles, this film. Here's the odd one, though. Confessions of a Shopaholic. Just throw that one in there.
That entire movie was animated.
And then we have Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. But yes, Samati, what were you doing? Confessions of a Shopaholic.
It's clearly a one for them, one for me kind of situation.
But what I do like about Samati is Samati has also dabbled with doing some documentaries, doing a few short documentaries, Reflections of Union Square, A Solitude at the Golden Gate, Melancholy Palace of Fine Arts, and The Color of Chinatown, and then also directing some feature documentaries, Life of Folk Dancing and Merrill's Mural Striking Back. That one is it's about a local San Francisco artist, Richard L. Perry, who takes back the mural space in front of an abandoned Merrill's drugstore on Marcus Street in San Francisco after his original mural was vandalized by a renegade artist.
Oh, that sounds very specific.
Yes, very interesting. That was back in 2018, so not too long ago. So, but yeah, that's Samati Boonchitsitsak. The other name that I wanted to pull out is the name that I think gets the name that least sounds like a name. It is animator Grantland Gears. Grantland. That sounds like a website to go get a grant. Grantland Gears.
Wait a minute. Isn't Grantland, isn't it like a place where you can buy, I don't know, sports stuff? Or Grantland, sports and pop culture from our roasting. No, that's a magazine, Grantland.
Yeah, I know the magazine Grantland. Yeah.
I wonder if he was named after Grantland.
I'm sure. Grantland has been around since 2002, doing digital resource assistant work at ILM with signs. And then is the most recently in 2009 was the digital artist at ILM with Star Trek, but hasn't done anything since. Top 4 on IMDb Game are Iron Man, Transformers: The Island, and Star Trek.
What do you know about, because we also get, the ILM obviously, and then Pixel Liberation Front and the Embassy and the Orphanage, and all of these different visual effects houses are contributing to this film.
I just rewatched Life of Pi, the movie that brought down Rhythm and Hughes.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's something that I do think we find a lot with these big CG companies. Is it takes a lot of work to make this movie magic happen, and so you have these companies. ILM is obviously a big one that's been around forever, but like Pixel Liberation Front, the Embassy, the Orphanage, New Deal Studios, they are they're doing a lot of really good work, but it does take a lot to make the stuff that we're seeing on screen. So, it can turn, I don't want to say abusive, but it has in the past been a situation that people talk about. And I think when you're looking at these kind of, when you're running these sorts of businesses where it is very much a machine and you just have to crank these effects shots out, it can get a little crazy. And I mean, the film industry is that way anyway. I mean, Tommy, you've been in it for years. It's a kind of a brutal place where they just they don't accept rest, really.
Correct. Yeah, it's like that in the computer game industry,
right?
Or just they're still sort of weird. Sweatshop tactics are still sort of allowed for some reason.
Yeah, right. It's nuts. Like then that's why there's unions. They have to fight to say, well, if you're not going to give us turnaround, then you're going to have to pay us, golden time for the next 3 days or whatever. It's crazy. And then these crazy studios are like, that's fine. We want to get it done. And then people are, driving home after sleeping or driving back to work after sleeping for 4 hours. It's unsafe environment.
Yeah. This is interesting, actually. I think that, in fact, the Orphanage, who contributed specifically to this film, they shut down not long after this movie in 2009. It looks like they actually shut down, and they were known for their what they say their so-called magic bullet tape to film process back in the early days of digital cinema. Co-founder Stu Maschwitz he's still a well-known contributor to the visual effects space, and he's good on Twitter too. So it's kind of fun.
So hit him up. Yeah, they did a lot of work on Sin City.
Yeah, they did a lot, especially on I think they were known for the Yellow Bastard sequence. They did most of the effects work on that one in particular. So, interesting work.
I really liked the first one of those. The second one was such a waste of time.
Why did they do that second one?
Yeah.
Oh, that was an embarrassment of a film. Yeah, I don't know. They did a lot of work on the HUD on this particular movie.
Well, and it's great.
So their work here, I'm a big fan of.
Oh, the heads-up display.
Right.
Got it. Okay. That's neat.
Yeah.
This is crazy. The IMDb has their first credit as Blade Runner 1982.
Which makes no sense because the company.
And then their next film is a short called Keep Clear in 1999.
Yeah.
That sounds like IMDb needs a little bit of fact-checking.
That sounds like it needs some rejiggering.
Well, I'm wondering if one of the people involved had worked at, because I know Stu Maschwitz had worked at ILM before.
Right. That might have been his. Yeah, IMDb is misassociating his credit
with his company.
Right. That's interesting.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Fix that, IMDb.
Fix it. Get on it.
I got a question for you. I want to do a little game for you.
Yay! I wanted to play a game.
This is would you like to play a game?
You look like you're trying to play an Iron Man game.
Thanks, Clippy. Are you guys fans of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm not very good at it. That's my problem.
Yeah, it's a game that I play with my wife all the time when we're like on long road trips. Like I'll think of a name, she'll think of a name, and then whoever can connect them in the shortest amount of time, or in the shortest connection, wins. But inevitably, it takes us each like a half hour to come up with it because doing it just in your brain is very difficult.
Yeah.
But this was one that I thought would be fun to look at. Looking at Terrence Howard, who is, of course, our roadie in this particular film, with Don Cheadle, who will take that mantle up afterward. Can you guys think of the connection between Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle?
Isn't there just one?
They do have one movie that they did together. Can either of you think of what that is? Pete, it sounds like you know what it is.
I do. It's sorry.
Tommy, do you have any idea what it might be?
It's It's I know what it is. It's Kirk Douglas's favorite film. Kermit is not in it. It's not a Muppet movie. I don't know what it is.
It is Paul Haggis's Crash.
Yes.
Crash! Oh, I really leaned into the cur. You just went
You did.
cur.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They are in that film together. That is a connection between the two. I wonder if they've talked since Don Cheadle took up the mantle of Rhodey for the rest of the films.
I think Terrence Howard won't answer the phone anymore.
Yeah, it was a pretty contentious.
Really, screening.
He was very mad, I know, at Robert Downey Jr.
It was a little bit of a difficult time. Yes.
Who was Terrence Howard in that movie? I remember the husband of the wife with the Matt Dillon,
Right.
and then Don Cheadle was the cop who shot the guy in the foot in the ball pit. Spoiler alert across the board. Got it.
Yes.
I figured it out. Okay. That's how I play 6 Degrees of Separation. Is can I remember anything about this movie, and then I just use a bunch of shorthand.
It made sense to everybody, I'm sure. Here's another one for you. It's frustrating because I can't use the Oracle of Bacon website and just say, okay, can you think of something between Gwyneth Paltrow and Robert Downey Jr. that's not a Marvel film? Because unfortunately, it doesn't give me the option to say, don't use these movies. So what I'm doing is I'm going to throw some other things in there. Jeff Bridges is our villain, and Don Cheadle takes over as Rhodey. Can you guys connect those two guys together?
Jeff Bridges and Don Cheadle.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Well, Crash is the touchstone because everyone's in Crash. Like that's what honestly, like that's one of those JFK or A Few Good Men's. Like everything, whenever I play 6 Degrees or the movie, everything goes through JFK and A Few Good Men for some reason.
There are a lot of connections that you can find these two in two movies. The first one, conveniently, is Iron Man. Jeff Bridges was in Iron Man with Sean Tobe. He played Yinsen. And Sean Tobe, you guys may remember, was in Crash, Tommy. So good call. Good call there.
I did it?
You did. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. You can also go, Jeff Bridges was in True Grit with Matt Damon, who was in the Ocean's films with Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
I've totally given up, and now I'm thoroughly cheating.
We can also go, Jeff Bridges was in Seabiscuit with William H. Macy, who was in Boogie Nights with Don Cheadle.
That's not even my favorite one, though, because my favorite one is to John Delancey, who had a small part in The Fisher King.
Oh, my.
Uh-huh. And he was in Reign Over Me with Don Cheadle, and he was in, and then Jeff Bridges was in The Fisher King with Delancey.
I don't think this is how you play games. You guys are just looking stuff up online while I'm trying to desperately get from one person to the wrong person.
It's more fun to play it when you're cheating. Jeff Bridges was in Only the Brave with James Badge Dale, who was in Iron Man 3 with Don Cheadle.
There you go. Oh, give us one without giving us the final connection. So it's actually a game.
Okay.
So don't connect it, but give us one step away and see if we can figure it out.
Okay. Let's try this one. I'm trying to find another one that has, okay, this is another Boogie Nights connection. Don Cheadle was in Boogie Nights with Julianne Moore, who was in what with Jeff Bridges?
Who are we connecting to?
Jeff Bridges.
Oh, Jeff Bridges? Julianne Moore and Jeff Bridges. Oh!
I have no idea. What are they in?
Oh, come on, Pete. It's your favorite Jeff Bridges movie.
It is? Seriously?
Big Lebowski?
The Big Lebowski, yes.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, you were being sarcastic.
I was.
2001.
I figured it out. The one time we actually played a game, I did it.
You did.
What's your guys' favorite Jon Favreau movie, either written or directed?
I'm such a big fan of Chef.
Oh, I loved Chef. I haven't gone back and watched that again. That movie made me so GD hungry.
Yeah, that's the problem.
For something that I had no interest
Right?
in. Like, I had no interest in a Cuban sandwich, but I was like, I got to get myself a Cuban sandwich. And I did. And I was like, well, okay.
Yeah.
But I want to watch that movie again.
Well, and there is, of course, Cowboys and Aliens, which I know is a big fan.
Oh, my God. I can't believe you brought that up.
Shut your face.
I have always loved Swingers. I haven't revisited it in a very long time, but I think that is it was just a beautiful film. It hit me right at the right time.
Me too.
Kind of surprised you didn't say Identity Thief, Andy.
Yeah,
I don't even know what that is.
but I think I think Elf is such a Christmas perennial classic now that we watch every year. And, I think he did a great job with The Jungle Book. I wouldn't put it as my favorite. I honestly would say my favorite is Iron Man of the movies that he's directed.
Oh, that's nice.
I also really liked him. I was just going to I don't know. Here's a movie that doesn't crest the IMDb 6-star rating, Daredevil 2003. But I got to tell you, I really liked his Foggy. He played Foggy, the other attorney. I had a blast with Johnny Favs in that movie.
I didn't know that he was in Batman Forever. He was assistant.
That's
Really?
funny. I didn't know that. I didn't remember that either.
Was he in Rudy? No,
Yes.
what was he in? Not Rudy. He was in Rudy?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
He
I
played.
can do it, mister.
He played D-Bob.
That checks out.
All right. Well, we should wrap this one up. And we're getting to that point, everybody. Tommy, would you like to tell everybody where they can find you online, learn more about your podcast?
Yes, I'm on the podcast with Pete, who is on this podcast. It's called What's That Smell? A sometimes funny podcast about humans and their anxieties. I'm also with you guys on the Next Reel Film Board. And I've started my new podcast. I'm actually recording it later tonight. It's based on the American Idol movie From Justin to Kelly. It's called the From Justin to Kelly Minute Movie. We review the entire movie in 1 minute. So the episode should be out before this wraps. So I look forward to that.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, everybody, that is it for today's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the show for free at marvelmovieminute.com. Join us over in our Discord chat room and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Next Reel. And if you like what we do and you want to support us and get some cool stuff, become a patron over at thenextreel.com/Patreon. Until next time, true believers.